Well, I'd like to welcome you, Jane Bank, to the Women in Rugby League Life with the Lionesses. Thank you ever so much for your time. Everyone, this is Jane Bank. She did all 5 tours. So that was 1996, 98, 2000, 2002 and 2003, and also captained a country and then played for a number of teams within the Northwest, Wigan, St. Pat's, Hindley, Bradford, and later set up Warrington Ladies. So an absolute pioneer for the sport of rugby league. So welcome, Jane. Thank you so much for being involved in the project and
Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure. So tell us, just start from the beginning, a bit about, could just start at the beginning, where were you born, how did you get playing in rugby league, and how old were you when you started?
Okay, so I was 13 when I first started playing rugby league, from Warrington, born and bred. I actually used to like playing football more. It was football that I wanted to play. And one of my friends came down one day and said, like, there's going to go rugby training. Do you want to come with me? So I tried it. A few weeks later, she left and I carried on. And the rest is pretty much history.
And was that in schools then, or was it in a club then?
No, because obviously we're going back quite a while, showing me age now. They didn't have girls rugby then at all, so it was open age. So I was playing open age rugby at 13. So, I just remember like people, I was like a twig, literally couldn't catch a ball. I was like, people were I was just holding on to people's legs and they were just still running with me, dragging me around. But I carried on. I think it's because we had older siblings and like older brothers that I used to like, I was a bit of a tomboy and I used to like always being rough and tumble with them. Maybe that's why I did Tetsu rugby and so I was 13 when I first started playing.
Yeah, and that was Wigan. Was that Wigan St. Pat's?
That was actually Warrington Ladies.
So did they have one then in 1990s?
Yeah, and ironically, the first game I ever played was against Wakefield.
Oh no!
And at the time, they were like the best team ever. So, straight in at the deep end.
Yeah, and that would have been the era where they were just nilling people, will it?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're on the wing, and because you were up on the wing in them days. Ice cold, and they couldn't catch the ball. And my hands were cold, and But yeah, stuck at it, and it's been adventurous to say the least.
Yeah. So what did you enjoy about rugby league different to football then?
I think it was more the physical contact, to be honest, and obviously because it was with older people as well, I was like having a little bit more banter, and I just enjoyed the atmosphere and being around everyone and the team morale that it carried. So yeah, I was playing club level at 13, and then even at schools, I mean, it's something that they can't do now, but like you can't mix, but they were mixing. So I did my GCC PE with the lads playing full contact rugby league.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah, and even during like PE sessions, I didn't feel like it was that challenging with PE with the girls at the time, and they were all going, "Come on, Jane, come into our class." I'm like, "No, I'm going with the boys." So I'd get changed with the girls, and then the PE teacher let me to go and do PE with the boys. So I was always doing the lad sessions during PE as well, which was great. I was one of the lads.
Yeah. Well, your time when I watched you play, Jane, you're just such an awesome athlete. Physically strong and top tackler, which we'll come on to very soon about how you began to improve. First of all, tell us, how did you get called up for Great Britain Rugby League, and what was your first memories of that?
So got selected to go to trials, which we did over a couple of weekends, and I got recognised then going to a training squad, and then the squad was getting dwindled down for the tour to Australia in '96. So it was one of those, you're waiting for that letter. Now this email stuff, and for mobile phones back in them days, it was a letter coming through the door. Anyway, I got the letter and it said I'd been selected to tour Australia in '96, which was just absolutely ecstatic about. Can't even explain how that felt. I was 17 years of age. I was 18 when we toured. So I was the youngest player on the tour, was the baby of the team. So yeah, it was phenomenal to be able to, I looked up to every single person in that squad. I just wanted to be them. They were role models to me. they were great as well, you know, really patient with me. And yeah, so we went to Australia in 96. So I didn't get a first test, didn't get the second test. And then we had like regional games in between. So I was playing against Sydney Presidents 13 and I got player of the match on that game. So I thought, yes, I'm going to get a third test. I'm going to get the last test. And I had hurt my shoulder at the time, but I was like, you know, it's fine. I can push through it. I had physio. I remember getting this fancy watch for being player of the match. I was buzzing. I thought, right, I'm in here. I'm going to get this one. And then the squad got called up for the third test and my name wasn't on the list. And I was absolutely devastated. But at the time I was upset, but as time went on, you reflect back, I wasn't ready. I didn't have enough experience behind me. I didn't feel. And obviously I was carrying this injury that psychologically could have had a big detriment effect of the result that we got because we beat the Aussies that year.
Yeah. So you were involved in that tour where, in fact, the last Great Britain team to ever beat the Australian in a test series is that team. So you were involved with them. How exciting is that?
Yeah, amazing. Really good.
Yeah.
It was great achievement.
So what was it like for your family and friends then when you got your call up as that 17-year-old girl?
Oh, just really proud. I mean, my dad even laughs now and says to this day, you know, about how when we got like meals that we had to eat and like strict like meal time diets, and but I was eating that on top of my normal meals. Like Dad's like, no, this is your meals. You don't need to have what you normally have as well. But you know what? I couldn't have done it without my family. I didn't drive. I was too young to even drive. So my mum and dad used to drive me. My dad drove me everywhere. He'd drive me to Haywood services, so Birch services or Haywood turn off. And then I'd jump in with like the girls from Rochdale and they'd take me the rest of the way because at the time we were training at Batley. And then they'd bring me halfway back and my dad would meet me again and bring me home. And, you know, I did rely on my family a lot to get me around. And they did that. I couldn't have done it without them, to be honest. And even the support at club level have always been at the side of that pitch, no matter what the weather is. Probably more for the after match entertainment, to be fair, but they were there. But yeah, my mum and dad were just phenomenal for my family. And so that was like 96, and we had to do a lot of fundraising, a lot of bucket collections, you know, to get that money. It wasn't a matter of you go in and you got selected. That was probably the easiest part of it. The other part was trying to get there financially. So we did bucket collections, we did lots of fundraising events, anything we could really. And then we then got the tour in 98 to New Zealand. And again, it was the same thing. You wait for that letter to come through the door. And we'd been training throughout. I've been training weekends. And then the letter came through the door and I got selected for 98 for New Zealand. So I was so made up. Thought, right, now's my chance. I'm going to get a test match. And I played in all the test games. And that was a fantastic experience. And physically, it was like running at a brick wall constantly. They really are strong and agile players. And from the result of that, I got player of the tour in 98. So that really, really boosted me. Gave me a lot of confidence in myself and my own ability as well. But again, I couldn't have done it without the people around me. And also the sort of the condition that we had with Sam Worsnap as well. I was, you know, I love the fitness side of it. I've always had like a big passion for fitness, and even when we had fitness tests, I had to be at the front of it. You know, the 5-minute run we did, it was like, I will die over that line. I'm going to be first. You know, it's like I was so competitive with that kind of stuff. So yeah, that helped us a lot, and I was very disciplined in my training, and I felt like that paid off as I started to get a little bit more experience and get a little bit older. So yeah, that was 98 then. And then in 2000, we had a World Series in this country, which was great because it meant all the family, our friends could see, we could display what we can do, and, you know, they can come and see us. So we played, you know, Castleford, we played at Wigan, we played, ironically, like the World Series final against New Zealand was at Wilderspool, which is where I worked. It was my hometown. And I got player of the series from that, which really, really did lift me. So that was great. Obviously, my family were really proud. And that particular day, because I'd been up for Warrington Hotspurs Personality of the Year a few years prior to that, and I'd never won it. And I was up again this year for the following the 2000 tour. So it was ironic, really, because the last few times I've been up for it, it's only been like a selected few that have come to the actual evening celebrations. And this particular time, all my friends and family come, coaches came, teammates came, and it was at Daresbury Park Hotel in Warrington. And I remember when they read my name out, and it was like a standing ovation, and my brother was on the front of the Warrington Guardian crying, you know, with excitement. And it was just an amazing experience. I was like, you just couldn't think it could get any better than that. And then, so from that then, I then started to work as sort of like a role model for girls in sport in Warrington. And I worked then full-time in Warrington Wolves as a sports development officer, promoting girls rugby league, and also working in the primary schools as well as the high schools, developing a Warrington Wolves girls town team. So that was just like, you know, amazing as well. So that kept me busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And all from your passion, really, wasn't it, of wanting to be the best that you could be as a rugby league player. I just can't imagine, you know, it gives me goosebumps thinking of you, that Personality of the Year and what it meant to you, and you know, on each tour. How did the fitness, you know, as regards sort of, so it started in 96, obviously that was the first tour. How did it change sort of around what you were expected to do off the field around fitness and things like that? How did that change or develop?
We was given so they brought Simon Worsnop in, and then we had like training programs, and it's not something I've ever done before. I've never done weights before this time, and I didn't really understand what we were doing. And he'd do workshops with us as well and go through what we needed to do, technique. You know, it was great, and I was like, I really enjoyed the weight side of things, and probably to this day I've carried that. You know, it's something I've always enjoyed doing, is resistance training. But it was all through the education that Simon had delivered to us that made us the success that we were, really. So yeah, I think that made a big difference to even like a couple of years later of how much stronger we were, and we had to be at that level to compete with the best in the world, really. So and then he'd do fitness tests with us regular, so that was like your incentive, like that was your date. All you focused on was that date. That date's coming up, we've got to, I've got to do this, got to do that. And yeah, it was really, really good to have that structure. Maybe that's what took me down the personal training road in the end, I don't know. But I can see that from like my clients out looking in now of how I felt when Simon was doing all that with us. You know, you feel like you're making them proud as well as yourself and your family and friends. So yeah, it was I really did like the fitness side and the physical side of it, and all the training camps we used to do, training weekends we used to do, and we did have some laughs as well, like along the way. But what a great bunch of girls, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Tell us stories. Tell us a bit more about the stories that you can tell us, Jane. What sticks out in your mind?
I think, like, I mean, one of the funny times, but it was a serious time as well. We were doing singing practice for the national anthem, and again, something that when you went out on that pitch and you did it, it literally left you had a lump in your throat. You know, it was goosebumps, and it was just amazing feeling. But we used to have practice because we were shocking singers. We were all at different tones and we didn't even know the words. So, but obviously Jackie used to take us to like singing lessons. We used to have a singing lesson, and it was really, really strict. Not strict, serious, because it's a serious thing, and obviously we all respect that. But when you've got a group of rugby playing females in a room trying to sing, you know, it did get funny, and then we got told off a few times for that. But yeah, so, and sort of, you know, a lot of memories that do stand out with me as well is Sam Brook. She like the amount of times when we used to play against each other, so they used to like warm up games, but we'd play against each other. Some people didn't like that because they were your teammates. We loved that. We were just like smashing each other. It was so fun. She always talks about it. But that was something else that we all really liked doing, was playing against each other. You know, it was, you normally all in different clubs anyway, and then you're playing for one team, but when you get split against each other, it was just so competitive and so much fun. Yeah, that was nice memories.
Yeah, so some brilliant memories. So what do you think that was the most challenging?
Probably I mean, for me, it was probably a little bit easier because there was just me. You know, some were going away and they had families and young children at the time. I didn't have my family till later on. So now I look back, that was really difficult for them to do that, like emotionally be away from your kids for that amount of time. And I never understood that at the time because I was a child myself, really, but especially in the early days. So I take my hat off to those that did that, because that's tough, and to focus and, you know, because I don't know whether I could have done that now with leaving my children for that long. That's good that they could be able to do that and deliver. So for me, it was a lot easier. I think with regards to the tours and the pressure that we were under, I think a lot of it was down to finance. As we went into 2002, I was like working then at the Wolves, and I was really fortunate that for me, I got funding from sponsors that were sponsoring the men's team. I was getting money from the Warrington Guardian for, I had to do a thing called Passport to Home. So still got my press cuttings of each sponsor. Every 3 days, you used to have to go to a phone box, because again, we had no mobile phones. And I had to ring up the Warrington Guardian and tell them what mood was like in camp, and how things were going, and what our scores were, and any injuries and that kind of stuff, and what's going on with the team, and the fun we'd had, like kangaroo courts and that kind of stuff. And they'd do a little press column in the paper. So it was called Jane's Passport to Home.
Oh, fantastic.
And I had a column. So they did, I think the last 3 tours, they did that for me. So I got, they paid me to do that. So that's great.
Oh, wow, that is brilliant.
And it's great now because I can look back at those and read them.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And memories, because it'll be things you've forgotten as well, won't it?
Yeah, completely. So that was really good. And then they were letting me do bucket collections whenever I wanted to. You know, like ASICS at the time was a sponsor for the men's team, and I remember one day my boss picked me up and went, right, come on, let's go to ASICS in Warrington, get what you need, what boots you need, trainers. It was just like, and it's something that we didn't take for granted. So I was so privileged to get all this stuff. And, you know, I was in the Warrington, obviously the Warrington Guardian because of the connection I had with them, but also I was in the Wolves programme. They promoted me on match days over the tannoy. You know, it was, I was like, lap of honour around the pitch where people clapped to me. I felt like a proper celebrity. But, you know, it was also getting females and young girls into rugby league as well. You know, so, yeah, it was good, really good looking back.
Yeah, do people still know you now as you go around? Do people sort of say, oh, that's Jane Banks?
Yeah, and it's crazy really, because I've got a terrible memory, Julia, honestly, and like I just think, how do they, like, I can see people even when at work and like they join the gym, they're like, all right, Banksy, how's it going? And I'm like, I'm all right, still playing, and I'm like, no, I've not played for like 17 years, you know. But I don't know who they are. You know, it's like, but it's nice. It is nice that you do get recognised as well.
Yeah, because Warrington is such a hub for rugby league, isn't it? I mean, it's just rugby league through and through. So you will be such a celebrity in Warrington because of that connection with rugby league. And that's lovely, isn't it?
And it's been nice now to reflect back to the children are older and to show them some of the things that I've done and press cuttings, and because they were too young to understand that as I came out of my career. I mean, they know now because of the injuries I've had, why I've had I've had a lot of knee surgery, so they've understood why I've gone through all that now. When I'm getting to do household chores, because I'm still on crutches for the last couple of years. Giving them life skills as well, you see. So,
yeah, absolutely. So was it 2003 you captained your country, 2002, 2003?
So 2003, Brenda was captain, Brenda Dobek. I was vice captain on that tour. And then on the last game against New Zealand, which was the last international game I played, I was given the privilege of being captain for that match. So for me, that was amazing. I finished on a high. I couldn't have, asked for any more. So I was privileged to be asked to be vice captain. It was great. The girls were just great as well. Really respectful. Again, it comes down to friendship, trust, discipline. It was just all wrapped in one, and friendships you kept forever. Yeah. It's like some of the girls that I'm like looking at some of the the history and the videos and that some have already done, and it's like we did it yesterday when you listen to them talk. It's crazy.
It is, isn't it?
A long time ago.
It is a long time ago, but it seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And it's like, but because I have, again, because my memories are great, I have been like Googling myself and looking at some of my press cuttings and things like that to just refresh my brain of dates and what I did. And it's like having an out of body experience. Like it's mad, crazy. So yeah, so then I went to, so we went to New Zealand and then I finished on a high there. And then we came back and then it sort of like went a little bit quiet with the Great Britain side of things. I was playing club level. And then in 2004, I then got pregnant and had my first child in 2005. And then I retired. I pulled away from playing then. I literally I had 3 years of, well, I say doing nothing. I had 3 kids in 3 years.
Yeah, I think you were doing something.
that was pretty full on. And then I did miss sort of, because I was coaching as well as part of my job, and I missed a lot of that. So I still wanted to coach and give something back, but in a different type of way. So I went down the personal training and group fitness road. And then I went to be a group fitness instructor and a PT. And I did that for about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. And then because I've had a lot of leg surgery recently due to, playing impact sport for so long and at a high level, I've had quite a lot of knee surgery from that. I've then now pulled away from sort of the more physical side of things, but I just do my own training now, which I'm enjoying because I've always either trained for something or for someone or taught classes. And, so now I just do my own training when I want to do it, which I enjoy. And then, trying to get my legs stronger again, really. So that's sort of where I'm at. So
actually doing all that in rugby league's taking you into a real sporty world, hasn't it, in doing that?
Yeah, completely. Now I've worked in leisure most of my life, whether it's been community development or group fitness, PTing, or club management as well. So I have sort of been in leisure a lot, and now I'm working doing memberships and retention and getting people into fitness and hopefully keeping them there.
Brilliant. That's excellent. When you look at what you've achieved, what do you think?
As time goes by and it's so quick, but then you stop and this has made us stop and realize what we have done, so thank you for that as well, and everyone else is working on this project, because it's something to be hugely proud of. As I was only talking to my kids yesterday saying this is what I've done kind of thing. It's like reality's just gone bang, and it is I really am proud of my own achievements, but also everyone else's achievements that helped me to get there, and also the girls around me, because without them, I wouldn't have had the career that I had. And I'm sure they'll, have the same stories as well. It's brought us, we've had fun holidays out of it through friendships and, the tours we've had. It's just been so much good fun along the way. And when we have met up, when we haven't seen each other for years, it's like we spoke yesterday kind of thing. And that's what true friendship is about. And that's one of the big things that has come out of all of it. We were all different club teams playing against each other, rivalries on the pitch for 80 minutes. And then you go to a Great Britain training camp and we're just best friends. And you can't ask for any more than that.
No, absolutely not. And you all are. It's lovely to see you all when you start getting together. And that's what we hope to do, is more of that, so you can all catch up with each other more often and share the story. So when you look at women's rugby league now, what do you think sort of the future and what that begins to look like?
I think it's a lot more established now, and I think that helps with the social media side of things that come in. Something we didn't have. Technology's moved on a lot. They have got a lot more backing from the Super League clubs, which is great to see. To have a women's side facilitated to a Super League club, you've got that recognition there straight away. I know there was a women's game at Warrington Wolves the other day, and it was funny actually, because I was only saying this morning, I remember when I wanted to just have a photo talk with somebody on the pitch when I was working there, and it was like, you can't touch the pitch, it's for the men's team, it really was like that. The grass might go flat. Whereas now it's like women's games are on the pitches, they're playing at professional clubs, they're getting that recognition, they're getting people through the door. Young people are inspired to that as well, which is great. They're going into schools. So, yeah, I think it's I think the social side of it and the social media side of it is the key thing to driving it forward. So you can see where it has gone from and come to, and they're getting a lot more support, as in things like when Mark and Toby had kit, we had to try and get kit off. And I remember we all got like allocated kit, which was like the exciting part of the tour, when you're about to go on tour and you're all getting your new gear. It's like, and then I remember these white t-shirts we had. In fact, I've got a press cutting of this with us, these t-shirts on, and it was sponsored by Munchies. I'm sure Joanna Will got those, from Roundtree, or I think, if I remember rightly. I love this Munchie t-shirt that I had. And then sort of like going back to the fundraising side of things, we went on, and I think Kirsty Robinson mentioned this as well, Cilla Black's Moment of Truth. There was 500.
You were one of them, weren't you? Yeah.
I always remember, like, so we had to raise money to get official suits for our upcoming tour, and it was the World Series in 2000. So we actually all watched it live together. So when it went out live on Cilla's Moment of Truth, it was a day when we was all in camp, so it was a great laugh. Well, maybe everyone else at my expense, but so we had a Diablo challenge. You had like sticks with string, and you had to like spin a Diablo, flick it up to the next person. They had to catch it, and it had to go along 5. And then I think Shelley Land was the last person, and she had to cross the sticks with one hand and catch the Diablo in her hand. So when we did all the rehearsals and even in front of Cilla Black, we just didn't do it. We just couldn't get it right. And, even on the rehearsals, she's like, oh, never mind, girls. And, it was £5,000 was a prize fund. And then I remember we went out to film it. It was like, you do it or you don't. There's no going back kind of thing. And we were waiting for these screens to open. And I remember us all looking at each other going, I think Lisa Matt went, oh, I'm so nervous. And I just went, I'm not this nervous when I play international sport. It was I can't even tell you what that feeling was like. And then all of a sudden, the doors just opened. We went out. Cilla's like introducing us. We did the challenge and we actually did it. And all you see on the video is me like starfishing around the stage, like, because I'm so excited. And Cilla Black's going, come on, Jamie, sit on the couch, trying to get me to calm down. I was like, that's how competitive I was. So that was an amazing experience. That was such a laugh. And like ITV followed us around doing our camps as well. So, they filmed us for about a week. They went into a room, told us what our challenge was. We didn't have a clue before. We had a week to learn it and deliver it, and we did. And that was good.
That was just one. It's one of my loveliest memories. And apparently, Lisa's got she's actually got it. Like, she's got a copy of it.
Oh shit, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to get that
you'll see
the museum. Yeah. So I just remember at the time, because and the suits weren't anything fancy, were they? But you would have gone suitless, wouldn't you, if you hadn't have done that?
Yeah. And another one we went on was Where the Heart Is. So we had to do the tug of war with the men's rugby team. So we did that as well. That was
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, that got cancelled a few times because of the weather. But we got there in the end. So we had the cold. That's all I remember. And it was like we'd practice, we'd get on the coach with all the team, and then we'd get off the coach and we go, right, do that take again. And we must have got on and off his coach about 20 times,
I wonder if anyone's got a copy of that.
Do you know, I must have somewhere with all these videos I've got. Like I said, I need to get them onto USB or something, but I'm sure I'll find something.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
And another one, but this was at club level. We went on. This was for club. We can say past this one. Noel's house party. So they used to have a wheel of moment. It's like a wheel of truth, a spinning wheel or something. It was. And we had to link arms, and we had numbers on our back. And when your number flew off this wheel, the caller would answer that question. And we were that competitive. We just linked arms and went, "Don't break," and no one was going, right, come on, girls, this is live. And we were just stuck around for ages. There's so much fun on the other side of things.
Yeah. And I know you all, as you say, you're all such great friends now.
It's lovely.
It is. So what would you want to say to the next generation then, Jane, just to wrap it up?
Just go for it. Try it. You will enjoy the physical side of it. You'll have loads of fun. You meet loads of friends, and you'll also learn good future skills like your discipline, even like getting into like the fitness industry. It's good for physical, mental health, but you will genuinely not look back. It's just one of the best team sports in the world. It really, really is.
Oh, Jane, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know I say this to everyone, but I love doing this, and it's been an absolute pleasure. You sharing all your memories and just your awesome achievement. You are a real pioneer and a real role model for young girls, but also women in rugby league and women in sport. So thank you very much
really
for
kind
sharing
of
your
you.
memories.
Thank you very much for having me on.